I was wondering if I might trouble you for a cup of strong black coffee, and in the process engage you with an anecdote of no small amusement.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Nerdherder. I'm J-Dub,
I'm Boo.
and you are surprised to be here, apparently.
Listen, man.
We do a show.
surprising.
Do you know about that?
What?
I hate to just spring this on you.
Sounds fake.
Sounds faking in space. Let's do it. Welcome to another episode here. I'm sure that anyone tuning in, checking this out after the fact, is saying exactly what our title says. Another ding dang Star Wars podcast talking about Boba Fett. Yes, because we like Star Wars and we like Boba Fett. We also like the people that have chosen to lower their standards in order to join us to talk about that.
Yeah, right.
But first and foremost, how are you?
Is this a real question? Like, are you actually checking?
I don't know. Is anything real at this point?
No. We all live in the Matrix. I want out. Please stop the transmission. I'm ready. Just
pull
shoot me down
the plug. Let me out.
Let me out.
I just want to live my life as a Luby boy.
With no hair.
Man, what a week. What a year
Wow.
it has been at this point. Lots going on.
So, Michael.
Glad to have everybody here. Listen, if you're checking this out, if you're listening to this on the Spoofy or on the Apple podcasts, listen, it's way more fun live, guys. We get to put up your embarrassing comments live as they happen. Why wait to send them to us later? You can do it now, like Michael and Daniel. But yeah, what a week, man. First of all, just want to say, I mean, and to just date this episode for the future, but hearts and minds go out to all of the LGBTQ plus and specifically trans people in Florida and Texas right now.
There's a lot of disgusting legislature being passed right now.
Man, if you don't know about Blackout Star Wars Eclipse, hashtag Blackout Star Wars Eclipse is a thing that we and other great podcasts and people have been promoting, because Star Wars is supposed to be content in a place of inclusivity, positivity, and all of those sorts of things. And we create these little pockets in fandoms and attract ourselves to these things because these places tell us we belong and we matter and we're valid. And so to have the real world, the place you might live, telling you you're invalid is just gross and disgusting and just ridiculous, but somehow sadly on par with where life is right now. But luckily, folks are stepping up and fighting back and pushing back against that. And so, but in the meantime, man, just thinking of anyone out there that's having to put up with that and having to fight for their right to live,
Exactly. And to live as yourself.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. Also, just everything going on in the Ukraine. Real life stinks. That's why,
Really
again, that's why, these things, whenever someone criticizes and it's just like, don't care so much about Star Wars, and all, yeah, it's just fake. It's in space. It's blah, blah, blah. Like, this is medication at this point. We don't use it for entertainment. It's therapy. These crazy space movies and space peoples lead us to real peoples who do embody the characteristics of this crazy Star Wars story, who do live out the qualities we look up to in our heroes. And that's the real beauty. It's not always about Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's about the fandom. It's about the people you meet along the way. And we can't think of maybe two other positive, awesome people, and also just cool people to join us tonight and to chat about the Book of Boba Fett, other than the bro boys themselves. We got Chris and Dan from BROAXIUM with us tonight.
What's up, guys?
Hey. Just listen to you talk about, like, all of the horrible current events, all of this crazy legislation, where you're thinking that, things are slowly creeping forward for humanity, and it just seems like we're taking 2 giant leaps back. It's awful to see. It's awful to see that people don't want others to be who they feel like they are. It sucks. And you're right. Like, that's what is so important about stuff like this. Like, these like little pockets of escape where we can go to a galaxy far, far away and enjoy a life that is, full of, people being included and being represented. And that's why we have it. That's why it's so amazing. That's why we love it so much. Ukraine and all of this freaking what's the stuff that's going on in Florida? Don't say gay bull crap that's going on down there and whatnot.
Whoa, Daniel, language.
Yeah. Calm down, dude.
Sorry. I'm sorry. This is all that.
Don't do that again.
Hey, back it up, pal.
But it's good that we can get into these spaces together with like-minded people and have a good time talking about what we love.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we're all squishy-brained people here, man.
Exactly.
I mean, but yeah, like, and that's why we strive to, make Nerdherder a space, and we strive to interact with people that create their own spaces like it, that breed positivity, that are those sort of safe places to retreat to. Because I think anybody that thinks like Star Wars is just about flashy lights and lightsabers and flying ships through space, like it's cool if that's all it is, but like I think
They're missing
that,
so much more.
man, really, like, and so and I think when we're talking about the Book of Boba Fett, I think that's what we see with a lot of some of the negativity and disappointment that had surrounded this show, a show I really enjoyed, and I think it was the expectations. I think it was they wanted the guy that punches people and asks questions later, and
They wanted the Legends Boba Fett.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think what we got was, at least to me, much more meaningful.
Yes.
And I think that was the point. And there's a lot of maybe reasoning behind that. Obviously, Robert Rodriguez is not here. We invited him. He declined. Bigger, better things or something like that. Right. I know. Turned down Nerdherder. I told him we had the bros and
Ow.
everything.
How dare you.
We had Tate's cookies.
He was like, if Scotty Gyro's not there, I don't want in.
Oh,
But
I can't.
Can't take me out of the live stream.
Chris is like,
I was like,
Tate's cookies. They're crispy and delicious.
Oh
Now
my
I'm gluten-free.
gosh. Tate's, hit us up with a sponsorship.
They taste good.
we're gonna get it first, damn it. That's our sponsor.
Oh, we hit a button. We hit a button. Connor loves Dan, apparently. We love Boba Fett.
that is not news.
No, it's not.
But it is sweet and adorable.
It's my boy. It's my
Now,
boy.
how are you guys? I mean, like, coming into this, you guys have all of your own stuff going on.
Mhm.
How are you guys doing coming into this? That good, huh?
No, it's just it's recent events that have brought a lot of us closer together in the fandom. Also has kind of left a scar. I feel. I don't want to speak for Chris, but I know that we have.
No. It's
And but at the same time, we find out who our real friends are through all of this, and who really knows who we are, and not just shooting first, asking questions later, kind of stuff. So it's been really heartwarming in that way, but also, just a little stressful, not knowing, thinking that we had people that other people that trusted us as well, and we're learning that it's just all a bunch of fluff. But the real true people, everyone in the Discord.
Shout out to the pickle crew.
That's right.
The pickle people.
My pickle whisperers. I love it. But yeah, that and like I said, current events with the world, it's just been really tough. But just gotta hang in there.
Yeah.
I did just finish Midnight Horizon by Daniel Jose Older, and there was something that I didn't catch at first in that book. If we're going to talk about representation and a lot of this legislation being passed, is that the one Jedi,
The master.
Yeah, Cantum Psi.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that they had they them pronouns, and I because like at first I was just listening in the car, and then I was like, as Cantum was having their own story being told, like I was like, oh shit. I was like, Daniel did this. Like, this is awesome. Like,
Right.
this really like just for the representation of the High Republic is just amazing. Blackout Star Wars Eclipse, everybody. And
Absolutely.
like, you know, it's just been, that was a real nice highlight of that book was
Yeah.
Jedi Cantum Psi.
I love that Star Wars books are so gay right now.
Right? It's so gay.
I look forward to when that reaches the screen.
Could we get like a confirmed gay couple in Star
Right.
Wars?
Well, more than background, like
Yeah, or aliens.
oh my gosh. But anyway, that's fantastic. And Daniel's been kind of leading the charge. I don't want to pick favorites in the High Republic game, but
I
Daniel
have.
for me is kind of up there.
It's my
He's
guy.
produced nothing but solid stuff.
Yeah.
And so really loving that.
Just a fun dude in general.
They've been hanging out
He's a
at Disney,
great guy.
planning new ways to break our hearts. So I am
Yeah.
excited. And yeah, for anyone that might not know after the fact what we're talking about, just search the hashtag Blackout Star Wars Eclipse on Twitter. You'll find plenty from folks that are promoting the full story. If you just check out Blackout Star Wars Eclipse, you'll get to see what all kind of craziness surrounds the company making the latest Star Wars game that they're proud about, but we aren't. And
Right.
make your own choices about how you want to proceed with that information.
Yeah.
So Boba Fett.
I heard of him.
Yeah. Have
Nice.
you?
Dan,
Nice.
do you know
Nice.
who
Just
Boba Fett is?
modeling there. It's beautiful. So were you guys Boba boys before going into this show, or were you kind of caught off guard like a blonde hand in a Sarlacc roast when they were like, "Hey, Boba Fett's getting a thing"?
Chris?
I wasn't like one of these dudes that had like a Boba fetish. You know what I mean? Like I guess from the
Don't
80s or
look at
whatever
me.
until now. Like I was not one of those guys.
Not when he calls it a Boba fetish. Don't look at
Yeah,
me.
I like kind of like Chris, where I love the armor. I love the way he looked. I thought he was a cool character. I when it came to the prequels, which are like my, you know, reintroduction to how I really started loving Star Wars. Like I always knew the originals, and then the prequels came out when I was in middle school. You know, Phantom Menace and you know, Attack of the Clones and stuff like that, into high school and whatnot. I loved Jango Fett. I thought it was so cool, like
Yeah.
how he was the model for all of these clones, and like I thought it was so badass and whatnot. But there wasn't much character depth to the guy, you know, and that's like what I started loving about, you know, this new series. Like everyone's had like a piece of Boba Fett merch, you know. He was just a very popular character to have some merch on and whatnot. He was very up there with next to Vader and all these other heavy hitters in you know, original Star Wars. So it's almost hard not to like think that it's, you know, cool looking character. But as far as like being in love with him, I just thought he was cool. You know, but I didn't know much about him that other than like, you know, don't run or else you're gonna die tired or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Good line.
Excellent line.
Yeah. Yeah. But the show is amazing. I mean,
It is amazing.
The way they developed him is fantastic, and the one overall like theme about him that I loved was like, you can be this person who has done a lot of wrong, but you can change, and it can take something like traumatic to happen in your life to be able to turn things around. It's never too late for most people. Most people.
Some people are just scug holes.
Yeah,
Hey.
there's some people out there that it's never gonna happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if change doesn't happen, it's because you don't want it to. Is
Exactly.
what I have learned and preached over the years, man. Yeah, I definitely see what you're talking about, and I think that I realized how many people liked Boba Fett, the cool character, who they saw in a few scenes, who was kind of side character in a couple of episodes of Clone Wars. Um, and you know, seeing now a fully fledged character, because I won't say in film he was really much of a character.
No, he was interesting. He was curious. He was mysterious.
He was
That's the word I'm looking for.
provocative.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was Jeremy Bulloch.
With that mustache, I mean, come on.
That
And
man
so
got a lot of fame, Jeremy. You know, a lot of people were hurt when he passed on.
absolutely.
He passed
R.I.P.
away, right? Yeah, he died.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to speak too soon.
Man, Chris Ryan's man, what a guy. So sad that he passed on.
Yeah.
Eventually.
He's dead, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Glad
Glad to have you here, Chris. No,
He's just gonna remove himself from.
I hope not. I
He's
love
not-
Chris.
Don't do it.
We love you too much.
He passed away not long before, I want to say, Boba's show up in Mando.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
I don't know if it
Mhm.
was before the tragedy or later on, but I know it was one of those things where, like, the internet, man, lets nothing go. They were shouting at Disney for not putting a thing at the end of Boba's episode. And
It was edited before.
I was like, yeah, we had that done months ago. Calm
yeah,
down.
we knew it
Exactly.
was going to happen. Totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I have to wonder what it would be like to talk to him now and see what his characters could become, because I don't think he was shy in that he just was a buckethead. He was the guy that put on the armor because it fit,
Yeah.
and
Right.
that's it. And now he somehow was the coolest character. It's almost a kind of, I rewatched The Waterboy recently, and it's just jarring how
Love it.
much Henry Winkler fell from grace, right? Like, to see that man and then to show someone like Happy Days, the cool Fonzie, and it's just like, you know, Boba Fett is Fonzie, and Jeremy Bulloch is literally just any other Henry Winkler character.
My mama said that Boba Fett is the devil.
And so, but yeah, I mean, he was interesting. He was provocative. And I mean, really, it wasn't until Attack of the Clones, Dan, I think, that any sort of character, I mean, if you can call giving someone a dad character, I know it would do a lot for my character development because I didn't have one, but for
Get a new bit. I'm begging you to
it's
get
the
a new
only
bit.
thing I've got.
Chris will be your dad.
I'll take it. But yeah, up until Attack of the Clones, 20 years ago, by the way, did we really get anything about this Boba
No.
character?
That's
Yeah.
not possible. It cannot be 20 years ago because that would make me old.
And
Yeah.
like what we did get, like when it came to character development, was
That's
out of
pretty
the
much it.
clones. Was we got character development all throughout the Clone Wars on the clones, but they were their own individuals. They weren't Boba Fett. They weren't Jango Fett. They were them, you know, just
Yeah.
because they had the genetic makeup of Jango. They had their own soul, their own, you know, individuality, which was
Yeah.
so beautiful about that show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Michael definitely hit the nail on the head that, I mean, he's the guy that put the armor on, and us fanboys gravitated towards him, built him up to be who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And as we learned with The Last Jedi, nothing can compete with fanboy imagination when it comes to
Oh my God.
character development. And so, yeah, obviously the Boba we get in this show, where we literally spend time with the character, not just a man in a helmet, but we actually get
Yeah.
lines, and we get callbacks and growth and all sorts of things. Of course, it's going to leave some
Yeah.
people a little wanting.
The people
Yeah.
that just wanted, like, they wanted their, you know, just 30 full minutes of him being Space Wolverine, Deathstroke, and
Right.
I'm
That
like,
sounds kinda dope, though.
like,
And-
you know, like, I'm sorry, all that pesky character development got in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Right.
were some
Sorry, we
cool
didn't
moments,
get
like what.
representation there.
Yeah. Like when he went into that bar and kicked the crap out of all those weekday bikers, you know, like I was freaking
Nick
loved it.
Toe?
That was
Nick
so-
Toe.
Nick
What, that's what they're
Toe?
called?
Nick Toe.
Yes.
Nick
They're
Toe?
Nick Toes?
There's
I
Nick
thought they
Toes,
were-
buddy.
Oh, I thought they were Weekway. My bad.
Yep.
Dan's a space
By the way,
racist.
tune into Podcast of the Wills OnlyFans called Nick Toes.
Okay.
I'm texting him now right now.
See, I
Isn't this
I
nice?
seriously thought they were Weekway, and now I just need to put these glasses away. I
Yeah,
can't
and you
even-
call yourself a fan.
Yeah, the Weekway, that's the bartender at
That's right.
Freetown.
That's
That's a Weekway.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn.
Big fan.
which he
Cool.
got a name, but I didn't look it up before this
My
episode.
God,
His name was Kyle.
everyone's gonna.
His name is Kyle. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed. I mean, first of all, just being able to get Tamara Morrison back in the role was very nice.
And those shiny teeth,
So sweet. Like,
Right.
that
the
man is
greatest
great.
smile in Star Wars. Yeah,
Hey, I mean, yeah, he's the best. I know Boba's not a dad, but Tamara Morrison just plays good dad, so I'm just gonna go ahead and
Does.
retroactively make Boba a dad somehow.
He's Aquaman and
yeah. I was gonna
Moana.
say Aquaman's dad.
It's great. And I
Yeah.
mean, and so that was the thing is like I think I know I was definitely imprinted when watching Attack of the Clones. Like this guy is cool, and he's cool for a
Yes.
reason. He actually gets to talk in this one, unlike Boba Fett. Like I mean, I'm joking, of course. I know Boba Fett got some lines, but like Tamora Morrison just brought quite the swagger and character to uh, Jango Fett, and it was nice to see him get to apply that here, and also push out of that. Much like the character, he really got to build something unique for Boba
Yeah.
that we didn't get to see with Django, mostly because he got his head cut
Yeah,
off.
you can see
Mhm.
the skeleton of Django
Jeez.
in the character he plays as Boba, because like the little adjustments he does to his armor when he's just standing around is very Django. It's
Yeah.
really cool the way he stands.
I will say he went to the Jeremy Bulloch school of posture because he got the Boba Fett swagger
does.
spot on. Absolutely.
Is it me, or is it like, am I the only sick guy here thinking that every time when he picks up the helmet that Django's
Every
Yeah.
time.
I was just like, I'm like,
Yeah.
don't pick it up. You
No.
don't want to see what's gonna fall out.
You're fine. I'm the sick guy that points out you can see the head shadow every time. It's
Yeah.
like his
Oh,
head.
it comes out of the helmet. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
oh
this.
shit! I gotta pay attention to
Yeah,
that.
watch that back, and then like
I
what's
will
worse
in
than
slow mo.
it's like, oh, this is the representation of my father. So is that.
Oh.
Slowly pan left. But and
Like the
and
guy
yeah,
from Tropic Thunder, he's like, it's just corn syrup.
oh my gosh, good callback. But yeah, getting Tamara Morrison back was a dream.
Yes.
I love him and his work, and getting like obviously by association he got Boba Fett. He got to play some lines for Boba Fett, but this was really the chance to get deep with the character. And I mean, I think some people who haven't seen Tamora in a lot might have been surprised by how well and deep he can play a character. And I think he was more than up for the challenge, taking on a character like Boba Fett, going through effectively a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
You know, as I'm sure most of us would do if we were, you know, recently eaten by a sarlacc.
Right. You know, you
Make it just, this is a family show.
It is a family-ish show.
Go ahead, Dave.
no, I'm just saying, like, you see some of that when he talks to Santo. You know, that he's like, you don't want to keep working with scum like that. You know, I forget exactly what word he uses, but you know, but you could just tell like right away he's like regret. You know, a lot of regret wasting his time working for these scumbags who couldn't give a crap about him. You know,
It's so cute when you try, buddy.
I know. I'm like, give a
give a Bob Saget.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Can't use that anymore.
No.
Oh,
We got to
no,
retire
too-
that one now too, don't
too
we?
soon.
Dang.
Yeah,
That was my appropriate expletive for a lot of things, and now I've got to retire that one.
Yeah. Betty.
Right, yeah. We did see someone with a Betty White bumper sticker recently, and I don't know if that was before or after, but I'm in love with it.
Not just a Betty White bumper sticker, a Betty White vanity plate.
Could
as
you
well.
imagine
Wow.
if she made it in the Star Wars somehow? She would
Oh.
have fit perfect in
Oh
Star Wars.
man. I kind of the fact that B. Arthur is there, I kind of imagine there is a Space Golden Girls
Right?
somewhere.
Yeah.
Eating galactic cheesecake,
Yeah, absolutely.
blue milk.
We can definitely circle back to Boba. It is his show, despite popular belief. But I did want to talk about his menagerie because although it's the Book of Boba Fett, You can't have a good book without cool side characters. We've got the likes of Fennec Shand. You mentioned it. We've got Santo, Black Chrysanthi himself. We've got the mods. We've got those hunky beefcake boys, the Gamorrean guards that they didn't give names, but
So
somehow
geeky.
did just decide to,
Yeah.
unceremoniously
Yeah,
toss off of a cliff. I will not forgive them for that.
absolutely not.
No, I
it-
was so upset about that.
I honestly, I knew someone was gonna die. They were not high on my list of expectations. I didn't expect them to go for it.
No,
Yeah.
But
honestly.
They
You
all
know?
worked. They all worked Shand and Shand with each other. You know, it was so awesome. You can't kick me out, Chris.
There you go. All right. So, Chris, how long can we keep him?
Peace and quiet.
It's
Peace
so
and quiet.
nice.
So of the Boba boys, of the Boba gang, did you gravitate towards anyone in particular? Did you fanboy over anyone in particular? Did you hate on someone who spins in particular?
Spinning is a good trick.
Love the mods. I love that it's something different for Star Wars, because we need a little more different and whatnot. So I dug them. Black Chrysanthemum being a part of the team, or being on the show, being in live action in general was
Man.
was like the best thing. And I just love that we're getting you bring in more of the characters from the comics, you bring them in from the animated series, you bring them in from the books, and it's just like it just makes the whole story more full, and that like anyone can show up in any medium, and there's no these are just the movie people, these are just the TV people, these are just the cartoons, and these are just the comics or whatever. I love that it's all one thing, and it's one universe, and we're seeing that, and I love it.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I know that when Black Chrysanthemum showed up, we both just we're almost halfway out of our seats. 'Cause,
Yeah.
we read the Vader comics
Mhm.
together and Dr. Aphra, and how cool of a freaking character and how not Chewbacca he is.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
how well they translated him too. It wasn't just he's got to look right, but no, they really captured his full aesthetic, I think.
Yeah.
It was a very faithful translation from page to screen. And that is one of the biggest things for me too, Chris, is that what separates this and what legitimizes these shows and these books and these comics from the EU that came before was they were those characters in the books were never going to come to screen.
Yeah.
Like Luke was never going to find the Yuzon Vong in
Thank
episode
God.
7. Like,
Thank
right.
Stop it.
We were never going to get that Star Trek Star Wars crossover that is Yuzon Vong.
Yeah.
Both of
See,
you.
I've been saying the same thing. They are Trek
Face
villains. They
Hey,
are Trek villains.
through and through.
Stay over there with
They
that.
were
Yeah,
thrown
they're
out of the
goofy.
galaxy. They were abandoned by the Force. I loved them.
Kick this fool out again.
No.
Kick this fool out one more time.
Daniel, they're not good
Fucking guy.
villains.
I
Dan-
loved them. I loved
Dan-
them.
Dan, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I do have one thing. Just
Take a seat, young Skywalker.
Yes. Take a seat.
Okay.
all opinions are valid except Yuzon Vong opinions.
Terrible. Terrible.
Hey, if that's where we draw the line as a positive, family-friendly podcast, I think we're doing okay.
We're all right.
Dan.
I can let them go.
Andy.
Just something I'll never let go.
We love you anyway, I will say.
Yeah.
Uh,
We're gonna put their space meat hooks in you and just take you to Mars.
right, their Event Horizon-esque aesthetic. Yeah, like as cool as any of those things were, they were never really going to happen. And what's ironic about that is all of the legend stuff that people had created for Boba Fett was never going to be Boba Fett. This is effectively the first true characterization of him. Now, and I say that as someone who really enjoyed, especially in the comics, what they did with Boba Fett a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I liked it despite it being in film one day or ending up somewhere. These shows actually borrow characters from each other. These shows actually make reference multiple times to big points in the timeline and everything. Like it feels like it's constantly Star Wars.
Right.
It never feels like we're taking a time out because this is a streaming show or because this is a comic even. the possibilities remain endless now that we've got legitimate comic characters showing up.
Yeah.
I have to say the one EU story I did like about Boba Fett, it was Legacy of the Force series. I think it was Legacy of the Force. Or Fate of the Jedi. I can't remember which one. It was like right in that line of books though. And it was when Jaina Solo goes and finds Boba. I think it was Bloodlines was the book.
Yep.
And Boba was like a pretty cool dude. Like he was, he was developed and like he helped train Jaina to like fight differently to like because she needed, another way to be able to fight a Jedi. And like he was a father. Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
That book. And
Yep.
like he wasn't Mr. Kill them all kind of guy and whatnot. He was at this point, he's older and he's a little more wiser. And like he was pretty good in that. Like I love this Boba definitely, but the Boba we got in that book, I thought he was well written. That was a fun read.
I think the case can be made that the best Boba is the mature, tired Boba.
Yeah, the one that's
very
seen a lot of
relatable.
shit.
Exactly.
Very relatable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I loved. I think Chrysanthemum showing up was our shared big moment. Jump off the seat. Big reaction. I enjoy the mods as well.
They were awesome.
I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, that in a universe full of excess technology, that people would use and adapt that and enhance themselves. And
Right.
maybe
Yeah, I'm just saying, right? Like you're right. Like it was like doing all that cybernetic mod stuff. I mean, like we got the what's his name from the Bounty Hunters? Chris, I can't think of his name. The guy
I know who you're talking about. Terminator guy. Yeah. Valance. There we go.
Valance. Yes.
Valance. Yeah.
Valance was great, and I mean, he was completely cybernetically enhanced after a terrible accident. Like,
I mean, and there are plenty of characters like even in the Darth Vader comic, Dr. Silo.
Yeah, Silo.
And there's a bunch of Imperials who have like cybernetic eyes. So, like, the one thing about Book of Boba Fett is it reads to me. It plays out like a comic book.
Right.
So none of that stuff surprises me. So when the mods came along. Granted, with the music that was playing, it took me out for a split second. And I'm like, all right, it's Star Wars. Okay, it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
And seeing Thundercat there, that was like
incredible.
You know what?
I'm like, okay, this is still Star Wars. It's still Star Wars. Yeah, it's Thundercat.
Right.
But
go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
But the mods and like their eyes and this and that, none of that threw me off. That was perfectly in sync. I think we don't see all of Tatooine, so we can't all say like what we've seen in the movies. That's what all of Tatooine is. Like if Star Wars were to take place in West Philly, there, where I'm at, there's so much more of the world and it's so different, everywhere. So it's you can't expect everything to be just the same. It's just moisture evaporators and stuff like that all over the place.
People in
everywhere,
robes.
like it's
not the same.
It's going to be different things, and why wouldn't there be these flamboyant kids in this destitute kind of city who are trying to break that mold and be something different than what they see all around them.
That's perfectly pop punk culture, right there.
Yeah.
Like
that's
I mean,
small town punks.
Yeah,
for real.
Absolutely.
As a small town punk.
Their cybernetics are like their Doc Martens, it's like in their plaid pants and suspenders and shit. It's just, it's like it there's always going to be people who are going to be different than their environment, to want to be different than the environment. And like to say to that music, Chris, it's like the one thing that like if anybody were to complain about like the music they're listening to, this is a whole galaxy of music. In Daniel Jose Older's Midnight Horizon, a certain genre of music was freaking the banging and clanging of a shop of a building star destroyers. Well, at this point it was star cruisers or whatever. That turned into music. Like it's a whole galaxy. Like there's gonna be some techno.
That's like fourth wave ska.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is Star Wars was never meant to be a time capsule. It was never meant to be a single type.
Right.
It was always meant to be growing and also reflective of the variety that you see in life, like you were talking
Yeah.
about, Dan. Um, I always think of whenever people like are abrasive to representation and differences in media and everything, that it highlights more of your like uh your prejudgments than it does anything about the medium you're talking about. Like I think it shows the way you see things, and kind of shows it to be a little narrow.
Yeah.
Um,
It is.
now,
Yeah.
if you
And
want to talk about like things aesthetically not lining up for you personally, I guess I get that. Um, but to say it's not Star Wars, to say it doesn't fit, I don't.
right. Yeah, you can't define what Star Wars is and be like, that's it. Like, a lot of nerds, and this is just this, working at a comic shop for 17,000 years and whatnot, and I see it all over the place. Nerds hate change and they want their
Yeah,
warm,
you ain't lying.
security blanket. I'm like that blanket ain't yours, and you need to, you know,
And
just fold the whole thing out and see that
yeah.
it's so much more different.
And
It,
change
it's
is
more than love.
inevitable. The one thing you can't stop is change. It's a constant. It's always going to change. Everything's going to change eventually. Something's, as new generations come in and grow old, and the older generations, kick the bucket. Yeah, things are going to change. I was watching an episode of Quantum Leap, and boy, it's such a good show. And it was a show about like rock and roll coming into the fold, and like how it was freaking the twist was like considered, destroying family values. And it's
Right.
just, no, it's not. Like
Elvis was too much at one
Right.
point.
I am
Like,
so freaking
You know,
confused
it's-
by Elvis movie.
it's just like how things are growing, things are going to grow, things are going to change. And it's not, people aren't trying to destroy the values that you hold so dear. It's just that they see them differently.
Exactly.
And it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
indifferent is okay.
The nature
yeah.
of human life and existence is change, and you could either get stuck in where you are, or you could find comfort in that. The
Yeah.
fact that it's never gonna stay the same way.
And no
Well-
one's telling you to change. They're just
Oh,
telling you
right.
to accept change, that other people are going to be different and want to do things differently.
No one's also telling you have to watch this if you
Yeah.
really don't like it that much.
Quoth the macho
Right.
man. You may not like
Um,
it, but you must accept it.
Well,
Right.
and
That's right.
I think it's so indicative that like the mods being such an allegory for change in a show about a character dealing with the concept of being able to change. Like, because that's the whole journey Boba Fett's on, right? It's almost, I saw someone kind of thinking like, oh, this is Filoni coming after the fanboys and everything because we don't like change and everything, and it's just like, you kind
Filoni
of just
doesn't give a fuck.
They take
right, like
everything
they
so
don't know who you
personally.
are, Jim.
Yeah.
But it is funny that like that's really the conundrum, right? Either change with the times, or find that you live in this small lonely box, really. Because really what Boba's faced with is the choice of, do I keep going down this journey just because of my name, because it's what I've always done, because I wore the armor, or do I try something new? Do I take these lessons I've learned? Do I look at this modern generation and then choose to progress? And luckily, the character does.
Yeah.
And he builds himself, and kind of like you said, Dan, it's not that he had to change the way they did. It's not that he had to just go along with it and follow somebody else's rule. No, change for yourself.
Hmm.
He decided who Boba Fett was going to be from now on.
Right.
He
And
took
it was just because he got a different perspective on life through the Tuscans,
exactly.
Yeah.
Perspective is a good thing
It's
when we
huge.
let it be.
It's huge. It's changed my life, being able to meet so many different, diverse people, and how they live their lives. It's opened my eyes to, the whole world, and how different we all are, but how it's a good thing, and yeah.
Absolutely. And this show continuing to make strides for that perspective in its casting as well. Obviously we do have Tim and bringing, as always, his Maori influence into
Yeah.
Boba, his whole aesthetic and everything, which is
made for some
fantastic.
beautiful storytelling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Across the board.
And I think Boba Fett's the better for leaning into this beautiful culture. I know, as has been pointed out, alongside. I mean, I don't want to sell him short. I think he's 60. I think he just turned 60 recently. But he, like, we've got two definitely over 50 actors in lead role, and one of them is also an Asian female.
Yeah.
Like, to have my favorite Disney princess, Ming Na Wen,
Right.
in a leading role, kicking some
Mhm.
butt, I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
Good old
and
Chung Lee.
man, I really enjoyed that. She kind of they brought the meme to life, right? He said no pickles, like that. That's their whole relationship, right?
Exactly.
And I'm perfectly there for it. I love their dynamic. They're really good together.
And I know I joked about it a lot while the show was airing. Like they gonna kiss. In reality, I love seeing a platonic relationship taking center stage between two grown-ups
Yeah.
that help each other and lift each other up. It's really nice to see.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the one thing I've noticed about like new Star Wars is that we're not getting this, besides the Ben and Ray stuff, which even really wasn't a big, huge romantic unfolding. It was, it wasn't. It was a lot of fanfic and stuff, and no, no trash talk to them.
I don't
Everyone,
want any trouble.
for real. Like
No.
I was also kind of a Raylo. I love their relationship, but it really wasn't, a big romantic story. The one thing I've noticed is that like they aren't really going that route with the storytelling right now.
Yeah.
There hasn't been there's not that Han and Leia stuff that we got in the past, or the Anakin and Padme.
Mhm.
We're really just getting like these characters being developed, and there's not a lot of these love stories, I think. And I know, and like I think the one thing that Lucasfilm is afraid of, like I'm sure, like they are all about it with the books and all this representation in the books. I think they're afraid the second they do something that's just not hetero,
Mhm.
they're going to get lambasted for it because someone else was not properly represented, and I know that shouldn't be the line in the sand for them, but I feel like that's what they're doing. Maybe that's why they're not putting this on the screen like everybody wants them to, even though they should.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I want Dr. Aphra in live
Oh
action.
my God.
I want her to be as gay as Christmas
Oh
morning
my God.
in live action. But like
My Christmases are pretty depressing.
I need her and a Tulvin, like, jeez.
I also I want quality representation. I
Right.
don't want the entire crux of her character to be her sexuality. I've seen, it can be done. It can be done very well. But I'm also a little bit scared.
Yeah, and like I mean, it's just something as simple as the way that DJO did, like I said, Cantum Psi. You could do that
Yeah.
on the live screen. It wouldn't take away from anything. Like, and it's just something as simple as just representing someone in their pronouns that could easily be done on screen.
Absolutely.
It'd be great if they, because I don't know how much we're going to get in animation, live action, that kind of stuff. Because people, there are other people who are thinking that Finn and Rey were going to be something, and I'm like, Disney ain't going to do that. You can be in space, you can have green aliens and whatnot, but they're not going to do an interracial couple. They're not going to go that far, and they definitely didn't. But this is why, like, I'm happy that the High Republic is there and it's doing its thing, and it's showing all the representation in literature. Like, they need to jump that to live action at some point, so that so that we can see that representation and diversity and everything, like, full blast. But I mean, I know they probably, for a business standpoint, they're like, they don't want to do that. They're afraid to to pull that trigger. And that's unfortunate.
Well, and I think to like play devil's advocate for it too, I think if they went all for it all at once, which would be an easy temptation, it would read more as tokenism than representation for sure. It would be
Yeah,
it would
I'm like, just do it. Who can
yeah.
like just do it. And that's all there is. Because there's going to be people who are going to take it as tokenism, or it's too much representation, or they're only doing this to, throw a crumb to the community, any community. But just do it, and do it until it's just par
It's
for the
in.
course.
It's right
Yeah.
until
Right,
it's
until
like it's yeah,
it's just
exactly. I was about to
normal
say
and
that.
well, because like we
Yeah.
were talking about, I mean, it's too big. It gets like Star Wars narratively is too big of a universe to not have all of this going on, to not have all of this progressive representation and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Um, and kind of like you said, I mean, High Republic's kind of the gay corner right now. Like
Not just because
it is.
there's like you can't throw a rock without hitting a person of color
Yeah.
in
That's true.
the High Republic, and I love it.
And,
And it's jumped up over the years where it's not just Lando for 20 plus years, and then
Yeah.
we got Mace now.
yep,
And
two
now we got
black
Finn.
guys.
That's it.
So things have jumped up, and I'm loving it. Like yeah. So
Well, and that's the thing is it's just like and it's the nature of the beast, right? We've had 40 plus coming on 40 years
45.
of
Yeah.
storytelling. High Republic's been around 2 going on 3 maybe years now. Like, it's having to make up so much more
Yeah.
ground. And so it's natural that the current market is full of current representation.
Yeah.
And
But
no one's being misrepresented, and it all feels so like
it feels
right.
normal.
Excellent
Yeah.
representation.
Nothing feels like, every person that comes in is a parade or anything like that. It's just
Right.
it's said in such a matter of fact, this is who they are.
Mhm.
Right.
It's shown in such a way of this is their culture.
Yeah. Like
Um,
I don't know if you guys have ever watched Twin Peaks before, or
Heard of it.
yeah, if anyone in the chat,
It's a great restaurant.
no,
No, it's
but there's
not. Chris knows.
one of the most excellent moments of that show is the introduction of the character Denise, who is formerly Dennis. And that's exactly how it's handled. Is Cooper introduces them as Dennis, and she goes, "Actually, it's Denise." And he goes, "Okay, that's how it should be done."
Yep.
Like
It's just
There
it's
you
very
go.
matter of fact.
it's life. And I definitely think we're starting to see it come into at least these small corners of Disney Plus and the streaming, I think are starting to make strides towards some better representation,
Yes.
and starting to push the boundaries and everything. I will be excited whenever we do get another feature film where we're at with all of that, because by that point they will have too much to choose from to not represent well
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
point, I think.
I mean, you definitely see them, with like Fennec. We've got Ahsoka and whatnot. A lot of more strong female representation along. So they're making definite strides in that. People
And
of color. Like just like when it comes to actors and making them strong characters. It's all happening, and I think they're just like they're doing it, just ladling it in there as they keep going
Yeah.
along.
They had a misstep with Finn.
Yeah, they definitely
I'm
did.
never gonna let that go.
Yeah, Chris is
No,
never,
nor should
and
you.
should you? Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
and it's not even a we had no idea, right? Like, no, that was a very
Nah.
public, that was a very in your face
I
choice.
straight thought that guy
Uh,
was going to be a Jedi too. Like,
Yeah.
He is. I like, the dang Lego holiday special be darned, but like that thing, that whole thing exists just to prove the point that he should have been a Jedi in film, and they're retroactively giving it to us. I can't see it any other way, right?
when he picked up that lightsaber at the end of The Force Awakens, Chris, that moment was
all of them.
I was already kind of pissed off at that point.
really
Like, and I'm using that term loosely, pissed off, but because I've said this 1,000 times, Dan. You know this.
Yeah.
Every trailer and everything led me to believe that he was going to be this dude. I'm like, wow. Like Disney came in and they're like, they're making a black lead with a and he's got the Skywalker saber. This is amazing. I can't believe this. Like that meant so much to me as a lifelong fan who had just Lando and angry as Mace Windu to or distrusting as Mace Windu to deal with.
Take a seat, young Skywalker.
He doesn't trust nobody. But
Nobody. He doesn't even like Yoda.
But as the film started and Roku was with me when I went to go see this for the first time, and he could tell you, leading up to it and everything, I'm like, oh, they're making him goofy. I'm like, oh, he's kind of goofy. I thought this is about him, and then I'm like seeing more and more it's about Rey. Then I'm like, okay, they did, that's JJ doing his red herring thing, but I like. It was I think the wrong choice to go with a red herring with him because you have many fans like me who this was like a shining moment, and then it was kind of like they pulled the rug out from him.
And I mean, they could have easily both made them like protagonists of if they wanted to have a strong female lead and
cold feet, man. It came down to cold feet because I don't know if I'm at this point. I'm pretty sure it wasn't backlash from some of these stupid ass racist fans who didn't like that there was a black stormtrooper or a black anything in Star Wars. I'm sorry, you can handle lizard men and huge huts or whatnot, but don't let a black dude be in a star a leading role. How dare we?
We'll take a dog man before
their armor is white, sir.
Yeah,
idiots.
So yeah. Yeah, or like what China did with when they kind of diminished Finn on there. I don't know. I'm pretty sure none of that came into play, but Boyega said, and then my man Prince from Urban Acolyte, did a whole video on this how they diminished his role. Like he was going to be a badass wielding that saber, and they cut it all.
Yeah.
They cut it all, and they made him like just scared all the time and getting his ass whooped by everyone. Even though he was supposed to be a top trooper. Oh man, I'm sorry, I get pissed off when I think about this. But he's supposed to be a top trooper, a top cadet, one of the best they'd ever seen, a warrior, and they did none of that. And then they went and put the nail in the coffin with the whole sanitation.
Oh my God, Chris, I know, what a bunch of shit.
I went, ha ha, oh man, like that's how it was in the theater when I was like, ha, he's
with the realization washing over. It shows the tone deaf choices that were there, and that's the beauty of the progress that's being made internally. This whole war between Favreau and Kennedy. The good thing to come out of it.
With the what?
That's a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
Because somebody in the comments
that Phantom Menace.
I knew it. Star Wars theory was right.
Yeah.
He's never right. That's the theory.
Never.
But the progress that's being made internally there with their business structure to make sure that the seats are chosen more carefully, that the people pouring into the decision making is more thoughtful and more equal, or even and not to upset the angry white Hicks, but even leaning more in the appropriate direction it needs to, depending on who the story is highlighting and featuring.
Yes.
Right? Like, I just don't think that many white dudes need to sit around a table if it's about a person of color that's not hetero in the main role.
It sucks too, because like coming from a guy who's like, one of my favorite characters in the Justice League was Green Lantern, John Stewart. Right? Yeah. I mean, like he was awesome. I grew up watching Static Shock, one of my favorite cartoons. That was one of those things that was never a problem for me, and it sucks to see that it is a problem for other people. Like it's just like, why does that matter to you so much? It's just bullshit.
Because we need to stay in our particular lane and not in a hero role and things like that. They don't want us in those roles. They want us like John Campea. I'm sorry to jump in like that, but John Campea had said after the film because he was like, beforehand, I can't stand this dude. He was like, I don't think the Finn character is going to be a Jedi. That's it. Like, you see what the Saber all the time. He's like, no. I mean, granted, he was right, but he's like, no, he's not going to be a Jedi. There's no way he's going to be a Jedi. That that's the kind of stuff he was saying all along. Then when the movie came out, and it was, and then they did what they did with Finn. He was like, I love that character. He was right what I wanted him to be.
Exactly.
Not important. And like that pissed me off. I stopped watching Collider at that point. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're absolutely.
The Finn
Well,
situation makes me
and that's
angry.
the thing is they like. There's a type of people that like it when it meets their expectations, no matter how misogynistic, racist, or sexist it is. And that's why I say, like, who sits at the table has to be more important than that.
Yes, and not just sitting at the table, who has a voice at the
Absolutely.
table. Like, you can fill a room with as many people of color or queer people as you can fit. But if the only person talking is a white dude in his 50s, what's the point?
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Like, Disney themselves has been trying to get better. I always say though, like, Disney's big, Lucasfilm is getting bigger. It's very easy for a department to get it right and another to not.
Right.
Like, there's always progress to be made, and like what you were talking about, Dan, of just like why is this so important? Like, that's why the conversations are so important to have. Like, it's cool if you and your friends get it. It's cool if you and your friends don't have a problem with it, but it's not okay to not talk about those things so that other people that aren't cool with it continue to get voices.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm sorry, if your opinion or your voice is hateful, you probably should, dial that back. You should probably go introspective and figure yourself out, because that's not necessarily conducive, and it's not even good for you, but it's definitely not good for us. Like,
It's just,
it's not good for those of us that do want better.
Yeah.
And so, like, the fact that Tamora Morrison got to decide a lot of the choices with this character.
Yeah.
The fact that his culture got to be in the
That was
forefront.
so awesome. It
Yeah,
was
that was
so
so dope.
amazing that they did that.
It's so dope.
And it's funny how, because you can't, like, no one can convince me that this whole Book of Boba Fett story was in place when they had him show up in Mando necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny how the choices Tim made to push his culture into the character, rightfully so, added the kinds of things that they would come back to when they gave him the show. They were
Yeah.
like, hey, these things we want to do more of that. Take us in, show us how, like, bring us into this. And we got such a beautiful story. And even like what we were talking about earlier, it's not even just that we're getting great, strong female leads continuously from Star Wars, but that we're also getting soft men, that we're getting men who are open to change, that we're getting, men that are, thoughtful and emotional. Those kinds of things are important as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, to break standards.
Mhm.
And that's what Star Wars has always been about, one way or the other.
Trying to break that chain of toxic masculinity, which is incredibly important. It's one of those things where one of the like a real problem is toxic masculinity leading to a lot of male suicide and stuff like that, and not being able to share your feelings or change or be different, and not have to worry about being just this strong guy who needs to shoot and beat everybody up. It's okay to let the guy live, and to give him a chance, and to give other people a chance. It's really important. It's really important to show young boys that you don't have to be this badass all the time, and that you can be compassionate. And it really is, like, you're right about that. It really is important.
Yeah, because you could end up with an Anakin if you don't.
Yeah, that's right. It's goddamn right. I mean, I'd still be pretty pissed if someone's kidnapped my mom, and I probably would go off too.
Oh, they'd all have to go.
Yeah.
It's my mommy. You're not.
That's my
That's
mommy.
my mama.
That's my mama.
Everyone connected is going to have to catch it. Yeah, they'd all have to catch it.
Oh yeah. I've long said, and I don't even change that. Even with the progress we've made with like Tusken Raiders as characters, like I've never related to Anakin more than in that moment.
Mhm.
Like, man,
Yeah.
but and that's the thing, right? Is it's you're supposed to relate so you think so like you're supposed to relate so that you consider uh change,
Mhm.
right?
Not in that point.
Not well,
Not
maybe
there.
not when mommy's involved.
Nope.
Yeah.
You know.
They all had to go.
Even someone like Black Chrysanthemum, who has been through serious amounts
Bringing
of
it back.
trauma, like that guy, the amount of trauma that guy has been through,
Bruh.
was tortured, captured by Trandoshans, and was made to fight. He was a gladiator.
No, he's nervous. He's
He's
nervous now.
been through slavery.
Were they
as
Weequays
a
or
Wookiee.
Trandoshans?
They are Trandoshans, but this guy.
He knows them well, J-Dub. Trust
And
me.
this dude has been all out for himself, making the almighty dollar, only works for people that give him money. But when someone showed him just a little bit of compassion, showed him like, hey, come work with me, I'll show you respect, and I'll let you be your own man, let you be your own person. Santo like had like teamwork aspects to him at the end of this, like you could tell that he was into this band of misfits that Boba Fett put together, and it was really cool to see that, so
Bruh
it
took
was
like
really showing
7
a lot.
knives for Boba by the
I
end of that
know.
finale. Like,
Did we
he
even
took some abuse?
and we didn't even see him like tossing him tons of money or nothing. Like it seemed like he wanted to work with Boba Fett and be there as a part of his team just because he showed him compassion and
Yeah.
showed him respect and didn't just kill him off. Like when the Hutts like said, hey, you can do whatever you want with them, he was
Right.
like, just
Yeah.
let him go, man. They don't work for people like this anymore. They're only going to treat you like crap, and like by the time they're done with you, they'd rather have someone off you than freaking keep you alive.
Well, and that's why Boba made the offer that he made there of just like, let him go. Hey, no hard feeling. Like at that point, he had his point made for him, really,
Mhm.
with the Hutts and everything. And that shows what happened. Like when you win, others win. When you get it right, others get it right. Like Boba Fett doing better for himself isn't just for himself. Like the amount of people he goes on to inspire, and not just awe with his cool jetpack and such, but like actually inspire to be better people.
Mhm.
Like that's far greater accolade than you'll ever get as some badass bounty hunter.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
even
that's
Fennec too. Like it seemed like almost everyone that he had in his like group, like I've all had like a little bit of a traumatic and like Fennec was a cold-blooded killer.
Mhm.
She was a hunter and an assassin.
Mm.
She had compassion for Omega. Definitely, there was some
Yeah.
Omega passion there, like
Yeah.
compassion there. But he taught her that somebody could even care for her when he saved her life and whatnot, and
Yeah.
he was like, I just need you to help me out. I
Well,
saved your life. Help me out for a minute. You could do whatever the hell you want after that.
and somebody pointed out, and I haven't seen that scene the same since, of like when they're talking by the fire and she's kind of measuring the situation that first time, and she's like, I guess I'm worth more alive, aren't I? And he says, you are. Like
Mhm.
they pointed out, like they don't think Boba's talking about the bounty. Obviously by that point he's moved on.
Right.
It like, no, listen, you are worth more alive. Ditch this crazy life you're in, girl. Like, get yourself settled down into, like, you are way too brilliant. Like, he even tells
Right.
her later on, like, hey, I can get the muscle. I need your brains. Like, you are brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna be
Definitely.
my mastermind and my assassin.
He definitely treated her more like a person, than just some tool, just some assassination weapon. And that's where he gained her respect. That's why I was like, kind of like when people were like, oh, she's gonna kill him and take his place. I was like, I don't know. Like, I really think that she really respects him for what he did for her, and how he's given her this choice to either just stay with him or go if you want to go. He just really wanted help to get his ship back, and that was it. And then he's like, you can do whatever the hell you want, and she chose to stick with him.
And what's his ship called, Dan?
It's the fire spray.
I
So
just wanted to
Yeah.
piss somebody off.
yeah, it's a Boba Fett starship.
That's
well,
what the Lego set is.
That's
right.
right.
I now have 2 Boba Fett starships
I want to
um in Lego form.
And a falcon and
It's a hell of a ship. Not too crazy about the name though.
Oh man.
Chris, just because you brought up the Lando voice.
it's
Oops.
and also we understand. You know what? I think they
Wait
were
till you see
paying
this third
attention.
episode.
So excited.
I can't.
It's
I gotta
it's
actually get some. I gotta get some stuff to Matt. I gotta get some shots because there's another project in the works. But yeah, I haven't done much lately. Just work and all of the past drama and stuff. It's kind of kept me back from doing some stuff. But yeah,
Do you eat chicken or respect parents?
maybe there may be some making of chicken. But
Do you
so
eat a
yeah,
goat?
it's pretty awesome to see the whole Banthaverse Boba. I mean, Lando. Love it. Love his character.
Banthaverse Boba is a side series that needs to be considered though, for sure.
Yes.
Oh, it's
Well,
there's some
we'll
things.
we'll
Don't
we'll
get in
drop
trouble
some
with Matt. He's Australian.
we'll drop some promos in a second, but I do want to circle back real quick before we
Yeah.
wrap up. And I mean, obviously, first of all, what a wonderful conversation discussing Boba's Menagerie leads to so many other great points of progress with Disney and their shows and their media and whatnot and everything. But that's on the good guys with the goodish guys.
Mhm.
Eh,
Like the anti-heroes.
I don't know where they fall yet. Like
They're like
Ant-
Venom.
yeah,
Exactly.
they're up there with Venom and no one else. But as far as the villainy, I feel like the anti-heroes, heroes, whatever you call them, was very solid. Great cast, very wonderful group of folks. And then on the other side, you got the villains who, other than Cad Bane,
Yeah.
I feel like we're a little lacking.
The real villain here is bureaucracy.
The real
be
villain
real.
is the fans.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hmm.
we've got the Pikes, which okay, we've got the twins that show up for 1 minute. Andor was not to be seen, but
He will be. He's gonna touch a hut.
I hope so. I
He's
hope he
gonna
gets
be
that for
in between
himself.
the twins.
I cannot wait for that Andor show, man.
So good.
But really, obviously, all the attention went to one villain in particular. Cad Bane stole the show
Mayor McCheese.
there at the end, man.
Bro.
Yeah, I still don't see it. I don't read it. I don't hear it. I don't get Mayor McCheese.
You got it.
Mayor
I mean,
McCheese.
You can massage
I'm with you,
that
John.
to
You
make
know
it,
what?
to make it.
I'm kind of with you, John.
I'm sure if you
It's-
lubed it up enough, it would fit, but I don't really want it to.
Mayor
This
McCheese.
This is
McCheese.
family friendly.
And of
All right,
course,
it's just Crisco, buddy. It'll work.
Yeah, it's all right.
But Cad Bane,
Star
you know,
Wars
we
premise,
talk
yes,
about Black Chrysanthemum showing up, the awe of that moment. I mean, Cad Bane actually showing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it gets bolder than that. At least
No.
not yet.
Yeah.
It made a lot of sense
yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like it was when he popped in, I was like, this makes so much sense because it's like, not only are you taking on one of the greatest bounty hunters in the galaxy at this point, Boba Fett, you hired one of the greatest bounty hunters that literally was a part of his training
Yeah.
to take Boba Fett down, someone that knew him inside and out, knew his father, and you know, like they all worked together. Aura Singh, they like Cad Bane was the ticket. Aura Singh's dead at this point. You know, Beckett took her out. So it made so much sense. Some people were like, I feel like this is just, you know, this whole cameo thing, and I'm like, not really. I mean, this
They're all
doesn't
in this
feel
universe. No.
yeah.
Exactly.
Cad Bane made more sense than Luke Skywalker. I'm just gonna say
Right.
that first of all.
For real.
And I liked both of them. But
Yeah.
like I don't know. I definitely think all of the bonus points went to Cad Bane for this
Yeah.
one.
You watched me go through like the 5 stages. Of
Yeah, this
grief.
was all you.
Like
Sadly,
yeah, because you got spoiled, unfortunately.
it never
Ugh.
fails. One time every season of the shows, like, funnily enough, during Mando season 2, it was Boba Fett. It was episode 1, Boba Fett showing up. I got spoiled on.
Yeah, that sucks.
Man.
Yeah, it's tough. When it comes to spoilers, it's like you got to know that like the internet is going to spoil. It doesn't matter, even if you don't follow people, you know, certain people or whatever, like even just like the stuff that you like will end up somehow on your feed spoiling stuff for you. So it's like my main rule is like if you haven't seen it yet, you have got to keep your soft line like until you see that.
And that was always my approach. I thought Facebook would somehow be safe. It was
Nope.
not. Nowhere
Boba
is
Fett fan
safe.
club.
I've had spoilers come
thought
up
it was
in
safe from Star
sports
Wars.
comments, like literally
Yeah.
on like stuff I was, you know, I was in like when it came to Tony Stark and the Infinity Gauntlet moment, right? When he did the I Am Iron Man
Oh
thing.
my god.
That literally was spoiled for me when I was talking about the freaking Eagles. Sorry, Chris. But when I was like literally in a chat about football.
Yep. It finds a way. And then I've had to catch people too that just know I'm the Star Wars guy in like our friend circle. And man, like I've had to like field calls beforehand or something because it's just like, well, hang on, what you need?
Yeah.
But
that's how it is at my work now. Everyone comes to me because they all got into it's great. I kind of love it. But like everyone at my work knows that I'm like the Star Wars guy. And like I get all these freaking like I've got all these guys watching the Clone Wars now, Rebels, like I'm like
That's
they're
what's
like,
up.
oh, it's a little childish. I'm like, dude, just it's a slow
It's Star
burn
Wars.
with Clone Wars. Like it starts off a little kiddie, definitely for the children, but as that show keeps going, it gets better and better and better. And
As genocide happens, like you just
yeah,
gotta keep watching.
yeah, you
Right.
just gotta keep watching.
It breaks
I
your
mean,
heart.
Umbara
yeah,
happens.
You eventually get
does.
characters like Bane who
Pong Krell, amazing.
oh my gosh, shut up. Get out of here.
I-
Don't get your second
kill you.
removal for this episode.
Sorry.
Don't
That's
get
for you,
Michael.
Michael.
But yeah, you get characters like Cad Bane eventually in animation. Characters that are that fanboy imaginary inspired Boba Fett kind of correlation, right?
You get the ultimate cowboy. I miss the drawl in his voice.
Yeah.
In Boba Fett.
I mean, I'll say the seventh episode where we got a little bit more. He definitely hit the nail on the head. He sounded like he jumped right off of Clone Wars. The first one, I don't know. I think it might have just been the lines. I mean, I don't know.
For Cad Bane.
Yeah.
I think like in his first appearance when he was saying like, you know, as long as the spice, blah blah blah. I was like, oh, that's like,
Cad. Yeah.
there we go. There it is.
Kind of grew into itself a little bit.
That was the same voice actor, right?
It is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, okay, yeah.
They were doing something different because he's a little less modulated. So like, there's always that like weird filter on Cad Bane that wasn't there this time.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. It's basically Corey Burton's Shockwave voice, but from the South. And it's really it's lovely.
You just won Chris's heart right there with the
oh man,
yeah,
dude. I tell anybody
I was like, it's Spike. You know,
yeah. I love me some Transformers, man.
I love that new Cybertron series.
I love when Star Wars is Transformers.
I love those Michael Bay movies.
Man,
I'm lying. I'm kidding. They're terrible. I'm sorry.
Leave you two alone.
All right. Well,
he hates Michael Bay movies. I know he does.
Oh my god, I do.
Yeah.
The only good thing that came out of live action was Bumblebee.
Bumblebee was fantastic.
That was an excellent film.
That was pretty good.
Pieces of that movie.
I'll give it to you.
Cybertron was A+.
Oh yeah, like you can't argue with the first 10 minutes. I not at all.
No. I did a Leo for the first 10 minutes of that movie. Just
yeah, yep.
You know, it was,
right.
Cliff Jumper. No, that's Bumblebee.
Right.
No, it's Cliff Jumper.
He's clearly red. He's clearly a Pontiac, not a Volkswagen.
He's a car.
So, but yeah, I might have been spoiled, but I came around to it. It definitely took. It was actually thanks to our Pickle Friends rewatch that we did, which was so lovely. It meant that I got
So
to
great.
see every
I love
episode
those
2 or 3
moments.
times.
That made it so much more special. Was doing
And
the
it
rewatches.
was when we were watching it together and everyone else was still so hyped about Cad
Mhm.
Bane that kind of pulled me in. And man, Star Wars is just better with friends.
It
It
is.
really
It
is.
really is, guys. Star Wars
Totally
is the
is.
friends we made along the way.
Right? Exactly. It's like it's not the treasure. It's definitely the friends you've made along the way.
Exactly.
The friends are the treasure.
It's one of Julie's.
We're
It's one
all
of Julie's favorite memes. Is the
we're all
pirates one?
Goonies.
I love Julie.
Yeah, she's the best.
So, final thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett. Listeners and watchers would be understandably confused if they forgot that that's what we are here talking about. But good conversation nonetheless. But any last big moments from this show? Any big predictions? Are we getting a season 2? Do you want a season 2?
Yes.
You know, yeah.
Oh, I think there's
I
going to
definitely
be a
want one.
season 2. Yeah, and also the one thing that I've been thinking about a lot when it came to, I know we didn't really touch on this, but Luke.
It was on my list, but we got off
I know
somewhere
it was
about
like an
Weequays
onion.
and
It's an
Nick
onion.
Toes.
It just unfolded. It's like a blooming onion from the Outback. So the one thing that really popped into my head when it came to Luke was Leia. They have broken the barrier with being able to use a different actor and all of this amazing technology, with his face and with the voice and whatever. I know in my heart that they can do this with Leia, and they would not be disgraced. Leia, I mean, Carrie Fisher would want it. She would want the fans
Especially if it's Billy.
Oh my God! Even if it's Billy, like I mean, yes, Billy would be
I
great.
think if you're gonna say what I think you're
but
gonna
she
say,
doesn't look exact. But I mean, like
No, she doesn't look like her to me at all.
know, right?
Millie Bobby Brown should
Right,
be,
Millie would be
Leia.
great, but I mean, like if you could take Millie and augment like with the CGI tech and whatnot, what they have done with Luke and the character, the actor that played him, it's so possible now that like in this Andor show, right?
yeah,
In
that's
this
true.
Andor show, you could easily do a Leia cameo. You don't have to lay it on thick. She doesn't need to be saying a bunch of lines or whatever, but
I mean,
bring her
I think they
in.
showed with this their capabilities to make them a fully fledged and included character. Like they're not just standing off in the distance and they're not having to stand perfectly woodenly still. Like Luke
Right.
was a full on character this
Yeah.
time around.
I mean, what did they do in Rogue One with Leia? Remember at the end where she was like Hope,
Yeah.
like that was just a smidge of Leia. She looked great. I loved it, and you had Tarkin, and the technology has only gotten better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring her
I
in
was blown
Andor.
away by Tarkin.
Despite
Rogue One.
what some small time background actors may think about this technology, I think it's wonderful, and I do think that ultimately this is one of the right ways to handle these sorts of appearances and cameos. Because I'm sorry, but Sebastian Stan just dropping in my Star Wars
You
isn't
okay
going to
there,
work
Chris?
for me. He got what I was putting down.
That would have worked for me though. I'd have been okay with that.
Yeah, I
and,
mean,
like, I was
I think
okay
when
with-
people were starting the online petition for that to happen, maybe. I think now he's kind of beyond that point to pull it off, but I don't know. I
But
mean,
it's like Alden Ehrenreich with Han Solo. He drew me into that character. Like I learned to unlearn like what I thought of Han Solo, and that it's not just Harrison
It's
Ford.
not the actor; it's the character.
Right.
yeah, that's very fair. I mean, and Alden will always be my argument for recasting, and really that's kind of what I'm getting to is I think both are fine. Both can work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the options are there so that it never has to be off the table to have these legacy characters continue to be involved when they rightfully should be in the stories.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Totally.
going to be so weird, like you said, with Andor, if we don't get anything of Leia at any point. Really? You know, so
Yeah, Andor would
Smits
definitely be
is
the space. Smits is coming.
he's in it.
Jimmy's
yeah,
coming. Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
then
He's
boom. All right.
already.
I'm
It's
in.
been
All
confirmed.
right. Let's
And
get this.
Half Moth down here said even bring me Organa thinking about Bale. Yeah, like
I would
but it's Leia.
I will lose my mind if we get Bale and younger Leia
right like,
interaction.
I'll cry.
and that's another
I
thing.
will
Like
absolutely cry.
you could have a younger Leia that doesn't have to be a Leia that's been CGI'd up.
Because here's the thing, I'm almost certain. I mean, considering it's Kenobi show and it's happening on Tatooine, I'm almost certain we're going to get a young Luke in that.
Mhm.
I mean, we're getting Ben and Beru, not Ben, Owen and
Owen.
Beru.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Big fan.
it makes sense we'll get a young Luke. It makes sense that alternatively down the road we'll get a young Leia. I just think it'd be great, and I would lose my mind absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So no, I loved. This was some of the best Luke Skywalker since Battlefront 2 and The Last Jedi for me. Like, solid master Luke Skywalker stuff going on here.
I loved when he was like he kept picking Grogu up with the Force.
Yes,
Because
that
his little legs can't walk as fast.
Right.
And it was
Why don't you
just
do that for me?
freaking great.
I don't have the Force.
Yeah.
I'm missing a key element in that.
Yes.
Have you tried?
I don't, but no lie, I would have turned to my mom and been like,
Boop,
"Why
it's
won't
called
you do that?"
it's called a rascal. You can just get yourself
Right.
a
Exactly.
rascal. And
There you go.
I am the rascal. Again.
That's
What
right,
about you,
that's
Chris?
right.
Any final big things you took away from this one?
I want to see, I don't think it's Crimson Dawn, but I would love to see, like who is working with the Pikes. Because they were kind of one-off-ish. So I want to see like, what else is there for this interconnected criminal underworld.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that there's more involvement with it. We got a inkling of what's going on with the Hutts, and I think that is, hopefully in this next series, if they do one, is going to be explained more. If they don't, put it in the comics. I just want to see more. And I don't know where we're going to be going with Boba from here. I'm guessing he's got control of Mos Espa, and and I'm looking forward to see how his empire grows from here. So yeah, bring it on. Gimme.
We know that Crimson Dawn is like just spread
Maybe.
like peanut butter throughout the galaxy.
Yeah, but it all depends on how this trilogy ends.
Mhm.
As far as like I hope that it's not the end of Crimson Dawn and maybe the end of Kira, but I don't know if it's going to be the end of Crimson Dawn.
Yeah,
so,
I would
I'm
be
looking
very
forward to it.
surprised, given how Crimson Dawn is being built up to be a legitimate empire in and of itself.
Yep.
Like there's always a market for crime. It is like the big
Oh.
thing for me when I'm thinking of like
Even in real
where's
life.
Crimson Dawn going to go,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my biggest thing is Kira just has to be recast. We need like
we need old Kira.
it. Yeah, because I mean by
Yes.
that point she's beyond the ability of the
The
original
aging, yeah.
actress. Yeah, like, and
I love Amelia though.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things she's done, honestly, because she got so put in a box with Game of Thrones for sure, but like she is such a great and well-rounded actress.
Loved her in Terminator, Genesis.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was good. She was good in that. Yeah.
Emilia Clarke, right?
No, the character in Game of Thrones.
Daenerys
Daenerys is Khaleesimus. Khaleesimus?
White girl.
Yeah. I just saw Boba in the background.
Yeah, he's here.
He's heard his name a lot in the hour something.
He's so confused.
Yeah, I really do hope. Like my only big thing, I love this. I'm a big defender that it is rightfully Star Wars. It's great. It's a lot of fun,
Mhm.
and I'd love more. I really would. I'm also okay if this is it. I'm okay if, one of my favorite characters just finally got some canon character development. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we can look at it for the spectacle that it was. I mean,
Right.
not only got some incredible character development, like you said, but we got some absolutely gorgeous scenery, along with like some incredible character design as well, and beautiful prosthetics.
It's a wonderful little story of an individual and a community, and it can be its own little capsule, or it can lead to something more. I mean, I don't want them to milk the character endlessly. Like, eventually, I want the Mandalorian to end as well. I want some
Yes.
big finale for that character as well. I think
Yeah.
endings are okay. It
Would have been okay if season 2 is
And I loved the intermingling
true.
of the stories, how the Mandalorian and the Boba Fett, they were all part of one large story. That
Yeah.
the one thing that people were not grasping, that, like, oh, there's no identity to this show. It's like, yeah, there was. It's just that this was all part of one big story that we're getting. It was basically the Book of Boba Fett was the interlude of the Mandalorian.
Pretty much.
It
Right.
was
Well,
just
not a bad thing.
I think
it's
back
not.
to the Aftermath trilogy, right? Like,
Yes.
where we pulled the wonderful Timothy Olyphant's character in
Mhm.
from,
Right.
where we have this big Star Wars story going on. We have the ending of the Empire happening, but then we've also got this small scale story happening as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's the exact same chemistry of, the Mando is the far spanning series. It gets into the big things, the Empire and all of that, and I guess into season 3 we're going to go further with Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah.
I'd love
Yeah.
that.
God,
But
I can't
in
wait for
between
that.
that, we're pulling in these other characters as well, these other smaller stories, and I think it works if you want it to work. Otherwise, just do what I did on my most recent rewatch. Like, after everything was done, after the finale, I went back and watched 1 to 7. It was still fantastic. Leading up to this one, I just watched 1 to 4 and then 7. Like, I was perfectly fine without the Mando parts of it, because I did want to kind of focus in on Boba for the rewatch. It still reads the same way.
Yeah.
Like, it's still a solid story if you don't want the side quest with Mando.
But you
They
don't
know what
get-
they're doing. They know what they're doing. Sorry, Boop.
No,
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah.
You don't get like
No, you're not. Respect my partner. Step off. Bump off, you grass and hoe, or whatever. Anyway, you were saying?
You don't get a mission and 1 starfighter.
Right.
Basically, that was the entire point.
Well, I thought you were gonna go somewhere with like Mandalorian culture,
Well,
or
that too.
all that
But the one
interesting stuff.
starfighter.
Oh yeah, like the Phantom Menace fan service that happened in
So-
episode 5.
Wizard, Beggar's Canyon.
Right. And that's the thing. One of the best Mandalorian episodes yet happened in the Book of Boba Fett, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, I think chapter 5 of Book of Boba Fett is cinema, but I think it also definitely works as a show, with or without the Mandalorian side story. But that's just me. I mean, again, if you want to have fun with it, you can have fun with it.
Did you just read what Half Moth just posted?
I
I'm
did.
sorry.
I did.
Right? Survivor, Garza Swift.
Why did
I still
Garza
can't say her
Swift.
name.
bro?
We were
You
actually
had-
talking about that before we started this. I was just like, "Hey, look, not confirmed, dead. That's enough for me to speculate."
Nobody.
She's
Right.
she's gone, guys.
Like-
she's gone.
Like, somebody pointed out, "Hey, Max Rebo survived worse.
Dust
hot
in the
dog guy.
wind.
He saw it coming. He wasn't playing that
I'm
night.
just saying.
He slipped a note to
Yeah,
Garza.
he had,
where
he had
he's
another
like-
gig to go to.
right.
Exactly. Not a
He
wedding.
was in on it.
There you
There's your villain for season 2 of Book of Boba.
Boom,
Max
it's
Rebo.
done. You kind of hinted at it earlier, but self-promotion corner. What are you guys working on that you want to excite the people with, and where can they find those things?
You're working on Chris?
Yeah.
I just
Oh.
was letting Chris take over.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. On Sunday night, Les Gonzalez from the Sith List is going to be joining us for shooting the poodoo. This Wednesday on Quick Shot, none other than Kevin Scott will be previewing the High Republic number 15, which
Yeah.
is fantastic.
We were supposed to do an interview, but there was a little
Time
bit
zones.
of miscommunication,
Yeah,
thinking
so
that 5 p.m. was
Your
British
secretary's
time.
fired.
Yeah.
It wasn't British. It wasn't our time. It was British time, and
Yeah.
I was at work, and
Yeah.
But he was
So-
generous enough to still do that.
Yeah, so we're gonna reschedule and do that interview and stuff.
Great
Let's
guy.
see. I'm going to be on recording with Sisters with Sabers tomorrow night.
Yes,
And I don't know when that's going to drop, but I know we're recording tomorrow night, so looking forward to that. Starbro's got a new podcast coming out next week. I'm not sure what this one is about yet, but yeah. So they got that.
those guys are the easy listening of the Star Wars podcast world. I love they have such calm and just easy listening voices. It just really puts you in the armchair. Yeah,
They're the absolute
And we're
antithesis of shooting the poodoo.
we're the ADHD redhead of Star Wars podcasting.
Chris may not like Ben, but I love Ben.
Can't stand him. Keeps talking about this hockey thing. I'm like, what is hockey? What are you talking about?
What is that, like cricket?
Something like that. Yeah,
Cricket on ice, right?
Cricket on ice. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that, understanding that reference.
But yeah, we're getting back on track. We had a couple of weeks of downtime, but slowly but surely we're getting back on track. Our quick shots BROAXIUM every Wednesday. We're back on our 9 p.m. live Sunday nights for everyone to come and have a great time to decompress and start the week off. You're ending your weekend, but also starting your week off with some fun Star Wars and other nerd chats. So
starting your week on Monday. Yep.
Yeah, shooting
ending it on Sunday, starting it on Monday.
That's right.
Yeah.
On a Sunday.
For Catholics, maybe.
Yeah.
For anyone listening who does not tune in to Shoot the Poodoo every Sunday night, it is the best.
Tons of fun.
It's what it's all about. We want everybody to have a good time, talk about what we love talking about, but also just have some good old fashioned fun. And doesn't always have to be a dissection. It's also just friends getting together and having a good time.
Absolutely. You need all of that in the fandom. You need all of that in your circles and everything. And so we've got a pretty colorful and vibrant and attention deficit circle. And we are glad you guys are a part of that for sure. And don't worry, Brian, I'm married to one, so it's okay.
That's true.
But definitely check out all of that awesome stuff. We're just here. We're here at Fridays, live at 9, talking for an hour to an hour and a half, apparently, about
This is so good though.
whatever we like. Let us know. Obviously, plenty of folks have been contributing throughout the episode, but if you're listening to this after the fact, let us know what you like about the Book of Boba Fett. Let us know what really stood out to you and what you enjoy, or just let us know what else you enjoyed. Next week we'll be back. Yeah. We'll be talking some Star Wars Rebels because Rebels Remembered Day is next Saturday.
Purgils.
Purgils.
The most
right.
important
Got to talk about
in
space
galaxy
whales.
is Purgils.
And so if you don't know what that's all about, basically we just sit down and chit chat about things we love about Star Wars Rebels because it's a fantastic show that you should definitely go binge if you're missing your weekly Boba Fett.
So good.
Look, just check it out. Boba Fett doesn't show up, but other great characters do, and it does break your heart. Yeah, definitely AP5. Other than that, we'll be back soon talking more Batman goodness. Really been having fun with that and looking forward to coming back with the Nolan trilogy and then with the Batman here soon. So,
oh my God.
You want to know how I got these scars?
No. That
I
seems
got
like
the-
very private information.
I appreciate you for respecting my boundaries.
Yeah, it also seems like a HIPAA violation. So if you're listening to this after the fact, be sure to check the links for any other important links, like our Patreon, like all of those other important things I can't remember now, including the names of our patrons, who are sad little people who pay us to do this. But thank you so much.
One of them's a family member, so I don't think he
Yeah,
counts.
he's the saddest of them all. I love you,
Right.
Josh. But no, we appreciate everybody tuning in and making this a lot of fun. Appreciate Chris and Dan for lowering their standards to join us this evening. We look forward to your next.
No, this is just the standard.
This is the standard, yeah. Well, we look forward to your next questionable choice that brings you back onto the show here soon. But in the meantime, that's what we got. Stay scruffy, everybody.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.